Welcome to This Explainer. Have you ever wondered what happens when our advanced automated systems just completely lose their minds? Well, today we're going to dive into a totally fascinating case study of exactly that. We are looking at what happens when an automated captioning algorithm completely misinterprets a Bengali nursery rhyme compilation, specifically the Infobel's Bangla release, Hatima Tim Tim, and more. Instead of just translating this simple, sweet children's song, the machine feeds us a transcript that is honestly an absolute masterpiece of unintentional surrealism. It's bizarre, it's hilarious, and it actually tells us a whole lot about how these machines process information.
To truly appreciate this text, we really need to look at it through the lens of what data scientists call an algorithmic hallucination. Basically, this is when a machine learning model perceives patterns that are completely non-existent, generating these highly confident but totally nonsensical outputs. We're exploring how a machine's utter failure to parse the Bengali language creates this fascinating artifact of digital noise. The machine desperately wants to hear English words, and the lengths it goes to find them, well, they're truly staggering.
So, here is our roadmap for the explainer today. We'll start off with the Infobel's Bangla anomaly, then we'll meet our hallucinated cast featuring Toshi, Luigi, and Megan. From there, we'll explore the culinary chaos of martinis, fish, and baking, followed by the recurring motif of high-pitched buddies. Then we'll look at some weird technological incursions, before finally wrapping up by making sense of the absurdity of algorithms.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the Infobel's Bangla anomaly. Repetition as motif.
Right out of the gate, the algorithm kicks off its avant-garde poem by spitting out the word Dima exactly 6 times in a row. It establishes this immediate, jarring sense of textual chaos. It's almost like the system is stuttering, right? Like it's frantically trying to find its footing in a language it fundamentally just doesn't comprehend, repeating Dima, 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 before it finally manages to spit out a complete thought.
And this brilliantly illustrates the abrupt transition from that stuttering machine noise directly into a vivid, almost cinematic scene. I mean, right after the 6 Dimas, it immediately drops us at a party that a conical Toshi-san. Aha! Suddenly, we aren't just staring at random syllables anymore. The machine has actually generated a location and a full-blown character. We're at a party, and apparently, we're hanging out with a conical Toshi-san.
Moving right along to Section 2, Toshi, Luigi, and Megan, the hallucinated cast.
The text creates this stark, almost deadpan contrast between its newly invented figures. On one hand, we've got Toshi, who is eventually described as saying bye-bye alongside peaceful bells. It's this oddly serene, quiet exit from the party. But contrast that with the existential plight of Luigi. The algorithm simply and kind of tragically describes Luigi as a donut undefinable. I mean, come on, that is incredibly poetic for a broken auto-captioning bot.
From there, the narrator's identity gets even more convoluted. The text just starts rapidly firing off these random associations. The narrator mentions an economy night, and then sternly warns someone to not buy a couch or tuna. And literally in the exact same breath, it suddenly name-drops reality TV star DJ Pauly D, mentions being chilly, and insists I need me. It is a spectacular collapse of logical sentence structure. It's like throwing pop culture and random household items into a blender. Then, this whole bizarre sequence of social interactions and random warnings culminates in a sudden, openly hostile command directed at a completely new character. Out of nowhere, the algorithm abruptly generates the phrase, "Megan, shut up," which is immediately followed in the transcript by the action of laughing. Honestly, it reads exactly like a snippet from a highly chaotic sitcom, entirely hallucinated by a computer listening to a kid's song.
Which brings us to Section 3, Martinis, Fish, and Baking, a culinary chaos.
Now, amidst all these earlier references, which actually included a surprisingly sophisticated mention of a martini katakana, we really have to ask ourselves, how on earth does the algorithm rationalize its sudden pivot to food preparation? I mean, it jumps straight from a party with conical Toshi-san right into a bustling kitchen environment.
Well, the answer to that question is a literal scene of absolute culinary chaos. The transcript blurts out that they could catch a fish, moves into some frantic chopping, and then introduces us to someone named Chunk. And who exactly is Chunk? Well, according to the machine, Chunk is a baking buddy. The text super enthusiastically declares, "Chunk is a baking buddy, oh buddy."
Let's check out Section 4, the high-pitched buddies, the motif of companionship.
The machine starts applying the buddy label to a dizzying array of concepts here. We have a shooter buddy, our good friend Chunk the baking buddy, something called a niche, a buddy elevator, and finally a baby buddy. By frantically repeating this one word, the algorithm transforms a really simple term of endearment into a sort of structural anchor. It's like it's desperately trying to tie all the surrounding gibberish together into something remotely resembling human companionship.
We then see this companionship motif collide head-on with some very bizarre childcare observations. The transcript confidently notes that the babies prefer high-pitched "oh shoot, buddy." It is just a perfectly surreal combination of a baby's normal preference for high-pitched sounds mixed with the sudden, exasperated exclamation of "oh shoot, buddy."
And this directly escalates into a completely absurd logical sequence. The transcript outlines that a show needs a vacay, introduces a deity who loved it, and ultimately concludes with this weird prophecy directed right at the viewer. You will be niche a buddy elevator. The machine actually strings these wildly disconnected thoughts together as if it's delivering profound step-by-step instructions.
All right, Section 5. Rechargeable bands and columns. Technological incursions.
Delivered with absolute, unwavering machine confidence, we get this incredible line. It sounds so profound, almost spiritual, right? Yet it is completely, utterly meaningless. We are instructed that a little bit under God will recharge the band or column. It's framed as this set of precise instructions, ending with the super cryptic advice to don't put much find a day. It's actually fascinating how the algorithm perfectly mimics the cadence of real advice while totally lacking any actual substance. This sort of mechanical, structural theme continues right after with a reference to a detachable collar. The line reads, "I know detachable collar, but you're able to pull my friend." This creates a totally surreal juxtaposition between hardware, fashion, and friendship. The machine is essentially just throwing English phrases against the wall to see what sticks to the Bengali audio, and the result is this beautifully weird sentence.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 6, the absurdity of algorithms, making sense of the noise.
So when we take this text completely literally, we're left navigating a truly chaotic landscape. It's a world populated by a jumping baby buddy, undefinable donuts, and conical partygoers. And honestly, it is incredibly easy to just get lost in the sheer entertainment value of these hallucinations.
But it's absolutely crucial to remember that this entire wild narrative, Toshi-san, DJ Pauly D, Chunk the Baking Buddy, recharging columns under God, and rudely telling Megan to shut up, is just the raw output of a machine. It's nothing more than a digital system desperately, blindly trying to map English vocabulary onto the audio of a simple, innocent Bengali nursery rhyme, Hot Tamati Dame.
Because of its complete inability to understand the context, it accidentally generates this brilliant avant-garde poem. And what's really amazing is how it concludes with its own oddly serene imagery. Amidst all the noise and chaos, the transcript gives us, imagine that it color the Tashi bye-bye, complete with the ringing of peaceful bells. It's a surprisingly fitting, peaceful end to a truly chaotic digital malfunction.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a final provocative thought. We've laughed at Donut Undefinable Luigi and our baking buddy Chunk, but think about the wider implications here. If our algorithms can hallucinate this level of absolute madness from a simple children's rhyme, how much can we truly trust the digital systems that automatically translate, caption, and interpret our world every single day? It's definitely something to keep in mind the next time you turn on auto captions. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive into algorithmic absurdity. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.